The more I learn about people, the more I discover the quiet loyalty of my dog. And in that simple devotion, I find a comfort that the world of men often fails to provide. Always acknowledge fault, and do it frankly. For honesty disarms the powerful more than clever excuses ever could. It unsettles those who cling to authority. And in that moment of imbalance, you may find the strength to choose your own path. Never allow someone to be your priority if they see you only as an option, because to give your heart so freely while being seen as dispensable is to wound yourself deeply. Whenever you find yourself standing with the majority, pause long and reflect, for truth seldom hides in crowds. Noise is not proof of substance. A hen may cackle loudly over a single egg as if she had birthed a star. Men will labor endlessly to be loved, but they will endure anything, even humiliation, to be envied. Wrinkles, instead of being marks of decay, are gentle signatures of smiles that once brightened the soul. Beware of health books. Sometimes a careless misprint may kill quicker than disease itself. Anger is a corrosive acid, burning first the vessel that holds it before spilling harm upon anything it touches. Truth, though sharp, must be presented gently, like a coat draped upon shoulders, not hurled like a dripping towel to sting the skin. Speak truth, and memory will never betray you. A banker is one who smiles beneath a shining sun and lends you his umbrella, only to snatch it back the moment dark clouds arrive. The man who does not read has gained no more advantage than one who cannot read at all. We shower children with costly toys, yet the treasure they most crave is our time, our presence, our laughter shared, and too often that gift is given sparingly. Keep your distance from those who diminish your dreams, for the small in spirit belittle others, while the truly great lift you higher and remind you that you too are capable of greatness. Obey your parents when they are present, for rebellion brings odd punishments, such as being forced to swallow a live frog at dawn, after which nothing worse can happen that day. By land, they are not making any more, and scarcity lends value to all things. When friends flatter you about your youthful looks, know it as a certain sign that age has crept upon you. When I was 14, my father's ignorance felt unbearable. Yet by 21, I marveled at the wisdom he had somehow acquired in 7 short years. Only 2 regrets weighed on the deathbed: that we love too little, and that we tread too lightly upon the hearts of others. Clothes may make the man, but stripped of them, people wield little influence. Never argue with fools. They drag you to their pit and triumph with experience. Giving up smoking is the easiest thing I know, for I have surrendered it 1,000 times and yet returned. Health is preserved by denying desire, eating what repels, drinking what tastes bitter, and doing what you would rather avoid. Never argue with a fool. The onlooker cannot tell the difference. Each day, do one unwelcome thing, for by embracing discomfort, you teach yourself duty without pain. The 2 most important days in life are the day you are born and the day you discover why. Circumstances shape man more than man shapes circumstance. Each of us is a moon, with a shadowed side we hide from the world. Of all creatures, man alone inflicts cruelty for pleasure. Some claim there is no difference between man and the jackass, and they are not far wrong. Laughter, sharp and healing, remains humanity's only true weapon. True love is never fully known until it has weathered 25 years of marriage. Men will endure anything to be envied, but only some things to be loved. It is better to cling to flawed morals than to walk without any at all. When you cast a line for love, bait it with your heart, not your mind. A broken promise is less painful than never daring to promise at all. Live in such a way that even the undertaker will mourn your passing. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. The ability to walk forward even with trembling steps. Do right, and the world will notice. Be good, and loneliness may follow. I am old now, and the burdens I feared most never came to pass. They lived only in my imagination. Forgiveness is the violet's perfume, gifted even to the heel that crushed it. Joy, to have its full sweetness, must be shared. It is better to deserve honor and never receive it than to hold it unearned, to make a child long for a thing only make it difficult to attain. No matter his age, a man may look younger by tucking a bright flower into his buttonhole. To succeed, ignorance and confidence often outweigh wisdom and doubt. The fear of death grows only in those who fear life. To live fully is to die prepared. Grief manages itself, but joy demands company to reach its full measure. Nothing begs for reform so loudly as the flaws of others. The lack of money is the root of countless evils. And a young pessimist patriot is often the kind of person who shouts the loudest without ever truly knowing what he is shouting about. And there is a tragic comedy in that, how easy it is to inflate sound around a hollow center. When people fail to show us respect, our skin tightens with pain, our pride smarting. Yet if we peer inward, honestly, we see how rarely any man truly respects himself. That private neglect humbles every public insult. Unexpected money arriving like a sudden bright leaf on your palm is a delight that warms the chest. The very same sum, when it arrives as a sting because you had hoped for more, becomes a bitterness that sours every other joy. Truth is fragile, and a well-told lie can acquire the immortality of myth, while truth, slow and sober, fumbles to put on its shoes. Life is short, so short that it humbles our schemes, so we must learn to break the rules that are petty prisons, to forgive quickly and without ledger, to kiss slowly, as if to map the contours of a beloved's sorrow and joy, to love truly until the marrow answers, to laugh until the ribs ache with honest surprise, and to refuse regret for those small, bright things that made us smile. A lie can travel halfway around the world, while truth is just tying its laces. How odd and how human that men complain about the hardship of dying when the long business of living has worn their shoulders thin. Death is a finality they fear, yet living is an unending trial they rarely mastered. There are many safeguards against temptation, prayer, community, discipline, but the plainest and often truest bulwark is cowardice. Fear, oddly, can be a guardian. Never marry a woman who loves only her own reflection more than she loves you. The mirror will always win. When the heart is divided, when confusion sits heavy upon your tongue, tell the truth. Let clarity be your simple rebellion. The best tonic for a weary spirit is another person's smile. To cheer someone else is to kindle light inside your own rooms. Loyalty to country should be steady and deep, but loyalty to government must be measured, and conditional governments are mortal instruments, and only when they earn our devotion should we surrender it. Civilization will remain incomplete until men and women stand equal in law and love. The balance is a work we must finish. I confess, with a rueful laugh, that I misjudged Eve. Better a life lived outside the safe walls beside her than a lonely life within them, without her warmth. In moments of urgent despair, profanity sometimes furnishes a blunt solace denied to prayer. It is an honest shout that dislodges pressure in the chest. Courage is scarce in the marketplace of virtues. We are often bankrupt of moral bravery. To learn whether you love or merely tolerate someone, travel with them. Proximity strips away the ornaments and shows the real weight of hearts. Pride is a fragile sail, easily caught and just as easily shredded. There is always a little thing ready to puncture our vanity. April first returns each year to remind us of our foolishness one day, of sanctioned jest among 364 days in which we play at being wiser than we are. By trying, we can teach ourselves endurance. Do not moan about growing old. It is a privilege many are denied, and in its lines are the maps of a life navigated. The pessimist who learns his sorrow before 48 knows too much of shadows. The man who remains a bright optimist after that age may know too little of cost. 3 comforts make the ideal life for me. True friends who stand like lighthouses, good books that keep you company through night and day, and a conscience that lies gently, not like a beast to be punished, but like a warm bed to return to. Good breeding is less a display than a restraint. Conceal how much you cherish yourself and how little you grant others the stage. Humility, practiced, becomes a quiet dignity. An intelligent person guards 3 intimate things: the deepest fears, the regrets that ache like old wounds, and the real excuses for lateness, sharing them only with those proven worthy. An honest man in politics glows with odd brightness in a field of dim motives. His few acts gleam more than many bright ones elsewhere. Comfort, true comfort, grows out of small conveniences. A warm chair, a trusted kettle, a hand at the back of the neck. Never give truth to the unworthy. They will warp it and wear it like a cheap coat. Remember, a pessimist may be an optimist who simply never arrived at the promised place. No real gentleman strips truth naked in the presence of the ladies. Decorum and tenderness should wrap sharp realities with soft cloth. Busyness is man's closest route to contentment. Engagement with the world keeps despair at bay. To be careless with attire if you must, but never with the order of your soul. Keep it tidy, bright, and honest. And now another part unfolds. No change in kind, only a widening of the circle. Sit with me for a while longer, whoever listens or watches, and let me speak of small salvations. Notice how human hearts are like gardens. Neglected, they choke with weeds of resentment. Tended, they yield sudden, fragrant blooms. Attend to your friends the way you attend to a lamp. Trim the wick, offer oil, and the light will last. When the world hollers, become the quiet hand that steadies the cup. When falsehood races like a windstorm, be the slow, steady hand that plants a tree. Its roots will hold when the gale passes. Do not hoard your tenderness, as if it were currency that must be guarded. Spend it generously, for its return is in the warmth you create. Forgive as if the act were itself a seed. You may not see the garden today, but seasons will prove you wise. Listen closely to the old instincts. Do not harden your heart to avoid pain, for hardness brings a different suffering, the dull ache of a life unlived. Rather, let feeling make you porous in the best way. Open to joy, receptive to sorrow, capable of being moved. When flattery paints you younger, smile and mark the years in stories instead. When you err honestly and learn the shape of your mistake like a map. It will prevent you from being lost again. Cultivate grace. It is the unadvertised currency that buys room in people's memories. And so, if you are still with me, stay a little while. Know that to exist fully is to accept paradox, to be strong and tender, brave and prudent, rooted and free. To keep a tidy soul is to sweep out small cruelties, and to lay down instead a floor of modest kindness. Carry laughter like a lamp, and keep your hands ready to help. Love not merely with declarations, but with patient presence. Let your days be a ledger of small, consistent goodness. Age will come not as a thief, but as a companion, if you live richly enough to welcome its lessons. Move through the world with humility and courage. Keep your commitments as if they were fragile glass, and let compassion be the habit you practice even when no one watches. In the end, life asks only this of us, that we try to be kinder, truer, more awake. Do these things, and when the final curtain nears, you will not tally triumphant conquests,